I ain't gonna lie. I'm scrolling through my feed and all of a sudden this pop up on my recommended talking about some everybody hates the Killer Roy. Who the fuck hate Killer Roy? Cause if you hate Killer Roy, you're bugging. Cause this nigga's fucking nice. His music is fire. Yeah, I ain't like nah on some real shit. Y'all niggas is bugging if y'all don't fuck with this nigga. Like what the fuck is wrong with y'all? If y'all don't fuck with this nigga, what the fuck are y'all dumb? Are you dumb? Or are you stupid? Let me know. Fuck all the promo shit. Let's get the intro going so we can watch this bullshit. Cause I wanna hear what the fuck this nigga about to say.
Doing what I'm supposed to. Why you acting brand new? Girl, I want the old you. All these hoes in my DM, but somehow I chose you. I could tell that something's wrong. Girl, you know I know you.
Oh shit, wrong button.
The Kid Laroi, a 19-year-old boy from Australia, seemingly overnight turned into a widely known name in the rap community, and not necessarily for the better. He has loyal fans, but just as many people strongly hate him and his music. How did this hate begin? Was it really Laroi's fault, or was it something bigger that caused it? Laroi grew up in Australia.
Whoa, what song was that? What song was that?
Was it really Laroi's fault, or was it something bigger that caused it?
Was that Laroi? I don't know if that sounded like Laroi, but I don't know. That shit sounded fire though.
Up in Australia and started touring for his music as early as 14 years old. Grade A, the record label founded by Lil Baby that Juice was on, was looking at Laroi and in talks of signing him. But with that deal, he would need to move to the US. Laroi, even before this offer, being a big fan of Juice, influenced his decision heavily, and Laroi moved and signed to Grade A. Being put in an environment around successful people and learning from them surely gave him a ton of newfound knowledge and insight, and he quickly rose up in the scene. To this day, his two biggest songs right now are Without Me, being certified triple platinum, and Stay, featuring Justin Bieber, which is now certified.
Yo, that song Without Me is so fucking fire, bro. That shit
11
is
times
fire.
platinum and ended 14th on Billboard Songs of the Summer list. However, with fast success and fame will come a ton of hate for Laroi. Sure, from mainstream rap community, but specifically Juice WRLD fans. The Kid Laroi's first big break was his song Let Her Go, which got a Lyrical Lemonade video. The song dropped a few days before Juice passing away, which showed that Grade A wanted to build up Laroi and Juice WRLD on their label as prominent rap artists. This is so important because later on, people will actually accuse Grade A of trying to quickly use Laroi as a replacement for Juice WRLD. Whether you loved or hated Juice's music, you should be able to understand why this would seem like an issue. In fans of Juice WRLD's eyes, he was one of the greatest of all time to ever rap. To have his label of all people basically say, he died, let's move on and replace him.
Alright, bro. See, this is what I don't understand about that. Because I know about how Juice WRLD fans don't like Killer Roy because this, and that. But, alright, cool. Juice WRLD died. Yes. Juice WRLD was an amazing artist. Juice WRLD was a great artist. But at the end of the day, like, one, they were already trying to acquire the Kid Laroi when Juice WRLD was still alive. Juice WRLD was cool with the Kid Laroi. Juice WRLD was a part of the whole label bringing up the Kid Laroi. So how the fuck is it, they trying to replace Juice WRLD with the Kid Laroi? They were already trying to bring him up. And R.I.P. to Juice WRLD. But just because Juice WRLD died doesn't mean they should stop with him. Like, they should just stop doing all the other artists, stop making any money. That doesn't make any sense, like, whatsoever to me.
A huge issue for Juice fans. Now, I'm by no means trying to say that Grade A is at fault for Kid Laroi's hate, but they definitely played a role. I'll get more into detail in this.
It was just bad timing.
After Juice's passing,
it really was just bad timing.
And at this point, nobody really hated him. He was actually building a really loyal fan base. So when exactly did the hate start? Half a year after Juice's death, Grade A...
Actually, I feel like the hate started when the Kid Laroi dropped that one song with Juice WRLD. And Juice WRLD was barely on it. And it was like around the anniversary of his passing. Hold on, I'm about to try to find it. Where was it? I'm gonna find it. Just give me 1 second. When the fuck did he drop Paris to Tokyo? I didn't even know he dropped that shit. It was reminds me of you. I can play that song and it remind me of you. That shit. And a lot of people didn't fuck with like the way they like he put that out. But on top of that, that's not his fault. Like it's the label. Like the label and shit is the ones that tell him when to post shit, and on top of that. So that's not him. So I don't understand why people hate fucking him. Like this shit doesn't make sense.
Released Legends Never Die, which featured a song called Hate the Other Side that Laroi was put on. That doesn't seem like an issue, right? Well, post Juice dying, Laroi was added to the song. It was basically a marketing tactic to get Laroi's name out there further and benefit Grade A even more. I'm not too sure how I feel about artists being put on songs post-death, but it is an interesting situation. I think in most cases I want to leave it how the artist left it and not add a full new verse into the song to surge the featured artist's popularity. All of this though becomes hazy and unclear what to do because of course you can't just get Juice WRLD's thoughts on it like you would have if he was alive. It's a very tough situation and I'm not really sure what the correct way is to handle it. Grade A smartly but to fans greedily took advantage of the similarity of Juice and Laroi's music and started using Juice's album to market Laroi. The Juice WRLD fans of course got quite mad and this is really where Laroi hate started. Fans of Juice WRLD started calling out the Kid Laroi, Grade A, and Lil Baby for exploiting Juice's death for profit and marketing reasons. Only 2 weeks after the release of Legends Never Die.
See, that's bullshit. That's bullshit because Juice and Kid Laroi were cool. They was trying to put out that album that Juice WRLD was working on, and obviously the song wasn't complete. So why would they go get another artist? Why not just put artists that are already on the label and artists that Juice would have worked with and put them on the song to finish it? Just like when 50 Cent finished Pop Smoke album, nobody had a problem with, no Pop Smoke fan had a problem with that. And it seemed like when Pop Smoke, when the other album dropped after that one, I think it was Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon. After that Pop Smoke album, it seemed like I was the only one that had a problem with it. You feel me? It wasn't like a known thing that like people was hating on certain artists and shit like that for. So why is niggas hating on him? Like that shit just doesn't make sense to me.
And Laroi dropped his own project. And despite the already building backlash, Lil Baby once again tried to use the popularity of Legends Never Die to push Laroi's project. Not to mention, Lil Baby went as far as giving a goal of 50,000 streams on Laroi's album to release more Juice WRLD. This was another big point where Juice fans were kind of realizing exactly what was happening with Grade A. They saw through Grade A's plans for marketing Laroi.
Nigga, that's them though. That's not Laroi.
I actually agree with people on this one. It's pretty weird to make people go listen to someone else because they want to hear a rapper that they love's music after he's died. It would be a completely different situation, but it's not like Juice agreed and wanted Laroi to get some traction before dropping his project. Grade A really just took advantage of the situation. Whether they did this with malicious intent or not doesn't actually really matter, because the Juice fans, they were starting to hate Laroi. Juice fans at this point felt as if Juice WRLD was
I'm the biggest Juice fan. I love Laroi.
Replaced by his label a couple months after his passing. The issue is that all of this gave Laroi a really terrible name in the community, but if you understand how labels work, I doubt Laroi really had much of a say in any of these big.
Thank you, bro. I swear, like people are so stupid. Like you acting like he himself was just thinking of these natural concoctions. Oh yeah, Juice WRLD's dead. I'm finna take all his fame. I'm finna do it. Like no, he did not do that. That's so stupid. So if anything, hate the label. Don't hate him.
Bigger decisions. If you thought this was bad enough, it got so much worse for Laroi and Grade A. The release of Reminds Me of You was the turning point where Juice WRLD fans really started hating the Kid Laroi with a passion. Once again, Laroi was added to the song post-death and sort of took it over. Fans did not like that Laroi was getting his name out there from leeching off of Juice WRLD.
Now this, I can give you that. I can give you that. But on top of that, again, I don't think that was him. It's the label. I don't think that he's making decisions. Like you gotta remember, the nigga at this time, I think he was only 17. He's only 17, bro. Like, come on.
Not to mention, Grade A decided to release Reminds Me of You on the anniversary of Juice's passing. It made them look super guilty of trying to use Juice WRLD's fame and fan base to build Laroi as the next big thing. Now, what exactly happened with Lean With Me, you may be asking? There's a thing on Spotify called Spotify Singles, which if you don't know, artists can basically just make and post covers of other people's music, or they can post different versions of their own songs. Now, the Kid Laroi released a 2-song project on Singles. It included a Without You acoustic version, and then also a cover of Juice WRLD's Lean With with me. Juice WRLD fans were not pleased, to say the least. They
I didn't
felt
know
as if
about
he was
that.
once again trying to exploit Juice WRLD's notoriety post-death. In this situation, I actually think this was probably fully Laroi's choosing to make this cover, but it was by no means to piggyback off of Juice and Rap.
Bro, y'all niggas is forgetting that the kid Laroi was a big fan of Juice WRLD before the label and shit were trying to go after Laroi. Laroi fucked with Juice. So what's wrong with him making a cover over his song? Like, nigga, imagine y'all motherfuckers, right? Y'all got a dream. Let's say you want to be the biggest hooper ever. And you had the opportunity to get signed on the Lakers or some shit. And it was a big star in the Lakers that y'all niggas fuck with. And he was mentoring you and shit. And then he passes away. Are the fans supposed to hate him if that player wants to, like, you know, take his number and then, you know, he's like, you know, posting stuff and, like, you know, emulating his game off of him? Like, are players gonna hate him? Like, that shit just doesn't make any fucking sense.
My opinion. Laroi, after all, was a friend of Juice WRLD, and it totally makes sense that he would make a cover of a Juice song basically in honor of him. I think the argument
What
that
did
it was
I just
malicious and exploitative was
What did I
completely
just say?
crazy here. But because of these claims, the Kid Laroi has since removed the cover off of Spotify. Who knows, maybe the Kid Laroi and Grade A came together and really thought that would get Juice fans listening to the Kid Laroi. I guess we'll never know for sure. Now, with all of these issues, was it at fault of Laroi himself or Grade A? Grade A, of course, was trying to make the best business decisions for the longevity of the label, and in turn made Laroi kind of a hated face in the rap industry. A Reddit thread shows the community's thoughts on this by saying, they're trying to use Juice's death to promote Laroi and his music, which from a business point of view could be good, but from everyone else's point of view, it's disrespectful using a person's death to promote anything. A user follows by saying, exactly, it's wrong but not Laroi's fault. The label's responsible for promotion. It was definitely not their intent to do so because it helps them do better the more people love artists they have signed. However, I think as a result of their awful marketing for Laroi's music right after Juice's death, they accidentally turned Juice's fans against Laroi. It's unfortunate because Laroi never really did much wrong, and he just got thrown into some weird situations.
He
I'd love to hear what
did.
you guys think
Like
about
I
this
said,
news.
it was literally just like a wrong place, wrong time type of thing. Like, the timing was just bad for everything.
Comments and who's truly at fault, but first let's take a look at just how much people do hate Kid Laroi.
I'm done
Juice
with
fans
all
and just general
the
haters of
pain
Laroi
you
have gone
bring
to some
out.
extreme levels of hate online over the last years. With Reddit pages, Twitter pages, and websites dedicated to the hating of Kid Laroi, people take Grade A's mistakes really seriously. A lot of arguments and people hating on Laroi are about as deep and meaningful as the internet ever is, though, saying stuff like this. He makes music for 13-year-olds who watch Bart Simpson edits. Also, he's white. To me, this hate's kind of just funny, but some of it does get a bit extreme. In
That
just
was
2
some
minutes of
meat riding
searching, I
shit.
found 2 Twitter pages dedicated to hating him. Here's some tweets from said accounts. This one, clearly being a Juice WRLD fan, says, Laroi could possibly be the worst artist of this generation. Imagine being so mid you rap about Hennessy and girls to try to copy Juice. It's funny that this user tries to claim that it's copying Juice WRLD when almost every rapper on the planet has rapped about Hennessy and girls at some point. The other account really hated Laroi on Juice
That's
WRLD
just some
specifically,
dick sucking
saying,
ass shit.
thinking about how much I hate the Kid Laroi, followed up by a simple yet harsh, die, Kid Laroi, and finally saying, stop stealing Grammys from actual talented people and get a real job. I'm
The
sure
nigga is talented. He's talented himself. He's one, bro. The Kid Laroi right now, to me, is one of the most talented artists, bro. And I don't care what anybody has to say about that. I don't care if you like his music, you like him, you don't. He's one of the most talented artists right now, and I don't care about what you have to say.
these are just
And that's
bubble
coming from a Juice WRLD fan. Look at who's on my wall. You don't see Kid Laroi back there.
And then in the same sentence,
You
saying
don't.
that being a musician isn't a real job. Now, this is one of the most insane Reddit posts I've seen about Laroi. This guy says, am I the only one that despises him? I want to punch him in his ugly British teeth whenever he opens his stupid mouth to belch out one of his annoying generic songs. I would rather listen to the sound of poop plopping into a toilet on repeat than be subject to the torture that is listening to his quote-unquote music. Quickly,
Yo, y'all
before we
niggas
move on
is
to a
dick
recent
sucking.
controversy where
Y'all
Laroi
niggas
falls
is
in
dick
to find
sucking
exactly
crazy.
the answer why people hate Laroi.
Yo.
The website asked the question, why do you hate the Kid Laroi? And these were 3 of the answers given. Because he's an industry plant that gets free Juice WRLD features and wastes them with his awful singing and rapping. Industry plant is one of the terms you'll hear the most diving into the Kid Laroi hate, which I guess is a big downside of being picked up by a label at 15 and propelled into a mainstream career where millions are looking at you. The term's just kinda gonna be thrown around at that point. The next guy says, because he's Juice WRLD, but if Juice WRLD was bad as hell and Australian and white. And finally, he'd be better off being
The
placed as a
nigga
punk.
doesn't even make music like Juice whatsoever. He has a whole different style of music. What the hell are y'all like? These motherfuckers don't listen to the Kid Laroi. They don't. Like, they really don't listen to the Kid Laroi, bro.
Pop artist instead of whatever he is now. Only thing I dislike about Kid Laroi himself is the forced voice he uses in his music. It's awful.
I love that shit. I love that
Now,
shit.
most recently, Laroi has been accused of copying shots from Oliver Tree's music videos. Here's an Instagram post from Oliver Tree about this.
Kid Laroi's new music video copies multiple shots from my videos. As an underground indie artist who writes and directs their own music videos, I am so sick of big artists ripping me off. Now, I know it's not Kid Laroi's fault, so I looked into the director, and it turns out this dude follows me on Instagram. Coincidence? I think not.
I agree with them that they've definitely stole a lot of shots from Oliver Tree's work. It does suck to see Laroi working with so many people that just don't seem very good at creating.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, bro.
A bad history.
Kid Laroi just having bad luck with this shit,
it
man.
pretty well, but it is just unfortunate. Laroi himself wouldn't be nearly as hated by Juice fans, especially if Grade A hadn't tried to market him using Juice's fame. Let me know what you think about everything I went over today and what topic you want covered next.
Hey, man. Overall, if you think Kid Laroi sucks, you're just wrong. If you think he's bad, you're wrong. Now, if you dislike him, that's on you. But you can't say his music is ass. And you most definitely cannot say that he's a Juice WRLD copycat, because he doesn't even make music like Juice. But I hope y'all enjoyed that video. This one was a little long. But I'm going to catch y'all in the next video. It's your boy Sway. I'm out of here.